It's my pleasure now to introduce Howard Saltz. Howard has a fascinating bio, and I would encourage you to go to howardsaltz.com to read it. I'm going to try to do it justice and to be brief. Howard Saltz got his first newspaper byline at age 12 and has been involved in journalism ever since, pretty much. He cut his teeth as a reporter in Connecticut, covering several beats, including the State House. He then worked at Media News Group and the flagship, the Denver Post, where he was deputy managing editor and deputy business editor. He then rose to become corporate vice president for digital content at Media News Group. And he is currently the editor of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. In 2013, under his watch, the Sun-Sentinel won one of the most prestigious awards in journalism, the Pulitzer Prize Gold Medal for Public Service. It was the first Pulitzer in the newspaper's 102-year history. He's the editor of the Sun-Sentinel, the Spanish language El Sentinel, the entertainment website southflorida.com, and all web, mobile, and video platforms. Howard is a graduate of the State University of New York. He is currently vice chairman of the Dean's Advisory Board at the FIU School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Welcome, Howard.
Oops. I'm gonna, okay. I can start talking without the slides. Thank you, Alex. And you know, Mindy left me nothing to say. I'll applaud her. Alex mentioned that we won our first Pulitzer a couple of years ago, and I was joking with Mindy here before that the Miami Herald has 20, so I guess that's the same thing, right? 20? 1? It's close. 1 in a row for us. I joke that Mindy left me nothing to say, and that is because a lot of us in the traditional newspaper industry are doing things in a different way. We've all gotten it. Some of us were slower to get it than others, but we've all gotten it. Some of the things we're doing is a result of us understanding what our product is and what it hasn't been, and I'll show you some examples of that, and then I'll show you some examples of some things that we are going to be launching in the next month, if we're lucky. Just taking innovation to a different level. So, right, let me talk about the new digital. Here's what we started with. We started with the notion that our product is not print and digital and television and podcasts and something else. Those have never been our products. We thought that they were, but we were mistaken for 100 years. Our product is content, it's information, it's advertising, it's creating or enabling communities. These other things are just platforms. They are of consequence because people choose one platform or another, but that isn't our primary product. And once we embraced that and fully understood it, it liberated us to do other kinds of things. So the new digital, whoops. Thank you. The new digital, this is a name that we gave to an initiative that we started in the fall. It is not a digital-first approach, which many people have called it. It's a reader-first approach, and I've got to give credit where it's due. One of the managing editors at the Sun-Sentinel who spearheaded this, and Vasquez, is an FIU alumnus. So to give kudos to FIU. Was editor of the paper, too, unless I'm mistaken. Digital first is this. I'm sorry. The new digital is this. We separated content creators from those who execute various platforms. It's probably easier to understand with example. So let's say that the best way to cover an event is to do it as a live tweet, or to do it as a database, or to do it as a video only. Before the new digital, a reporter, content creator, photographer, whatever you want to call it, still had to produce something for print. It was the beast that had to be fed. And you only have time to do something one way, and so you're going to do it in a way that is lowest common denominator. Print can't deal with video. Print can't deal with live tweets. it has limited ability to deal with databases. And so in pursuing the lowest common denominator, you did things the way that print demanded. Narrative text, still pictures. And you might have embellished on that. You would, you could tweet something, you could email something, you could make a photo gallery where there was once a photo. But it was still based on what you could do for print and then embellish. What this philosophy is that we will do something in the way that it ought to be done. Do it in the way that most serves the reader, and don't worry about the platform. And so if you're going to spend a day live tweeting because you and your editor really believe that that's the best way to communicate information, then that's what you'll do. Now, this is not, there's no indifference toward print. We still understand that that's where most of our revenue is coming from. I started out in print. I love print. I read print. My mother subscribes to the Sun Sentinel print. I'm not disappointing her. I'm not that dumb. So this does not harm print one bit. We've built into the system the notion that if something does make sense for print, there's the ability to alter it so that it suits print. Now, if we were doing this 20 times a day, then this strategy would not be working. In fact, we're not. We're doing it infrequently. And so we've built in a safety net, seems to be working. Our digital products are much more reflective of what those products can be, and print is at least as good as ever, probably better. So that's what the new digital is. Excuse me. Oops. I'm doing a Mark Rubio here. Yes, thank you. I am not the editor of SouthFlorida.com. As Alex said, as the editor of the Sun Sentinel, I am responsible for all of our products. The editor of SouthFlorida.com is Marianne Liu, who is sitting there. SouthFlorida.com is one of the products that we created about 2 years ago. It is a web-only product. It's an entertainment product focusing on things to do. It is aimed at a demographic younger than the Sun Sentinel. We intentionally gave it a brand distinct from the Sun Sentinel so that it has a little bit of freedom to do things that might tarnish a 100-year-old brand that prompts people to buy the newspaper. We wanted that separation. We don't hide it. I think that, yeah, Sun Sentinel's in the upper left. We're not lying about what we are, but by giving it a different brand, we free it up. It's unusual to start a website and to actually staff it. A lot of traditional news organizations have tried to do things for free. It never works. SouthFlorida.com has its own staff, and so now we have about 2 million page views a month. We're bringing in about 50 grand a month. It is successful from the readership standpoint, from a business standpoint. So that's a win. Some other things. Right. We are using our digital abilities and personnel who are strong at it to create packages for the website that don't just repurpose what is in print. Many talked a lot about this too. So Sex Predators Unleashed is a good example. We did something. I'm going to still talk about it because people I work with, and there's a lot of people here, they think I talk about this too much, but too bad. If you were to click on this, Sex Predators Unleashed, it loaded. It was Sex Predators Unleashed was a story about how people who have been convicted of sex crimes in Florida are released almost without question. The laws were set up to keep a percentage of them in prison, weren't working. Everybody's getting out. Some cases they committed crimes the day they're let out of jail. And so it was something like 500 and something prisoners in a 10-year period or something like that. But what was exciting about it is that the thumbnails loaded one by one by one by one. And so as this group of 500 thumbnails are loading, the actual loading of pictures communicates information. You know, you're about 200 in and you go, my goodness, there's a lot of guys. And then it's another 100. And you say, my Lord, this is a problem. By the time you get to 500, you recognize the enormity of the problem. But it's because they loaded one by one. This was very clever. I give credit where it's due, but I'm trying to remember. I don't think they're here. Was it? Who did it? I don't know. I don't even know. We have so many good people that it's that I cannot remember. I apologize. We also do Plundering America is on the right, where it's a project we just started, just launched last month. We use video, we use hot type and other things to make the experience better online than it can be in print. We have daily stories in which we just use databases. Sometimes the database stands alone. Sometimes it's with a story. We'll do whatever makes sense for the reader. And by the way, all of these, this previous slide and this slide, these are all in a responsive design, so it doesn't matter what device you're using. It works on every device. So let's hit the, yeah, all right, here's the next one. Here's the one that's coming up. Sun Sentinel Originals. Think TV, and then forget about it. This is not TV. This is TV on steroids. We will have Sun Sentinel Originals will be a section within our site, but it'll also be available on Hulu in the second quarter of this year. It'll be available on Roku at some point in the future. It'll be available everywhere. It also will be available if you have a smart TV that accepts URLs. Mine does, just www.sunsentinel.com/originals. So you can watch it on your large TV. So imagine sitting at home on your couch with your 62-inch high-def TV, and you're watching news from the Sun Sentinel, not necessarily a TV station. But it's not an anchor sitting at a desk reading the news to you. That's somebody else's way of doing things, and it's perfectly fine, but there's really no reason for us to do that if everybody's already doing that. This is a series of enterprise stories, generally speaking, not off of the day's news, which we already do extremely well. They are themed series. So X's and Omar, which is the one show, for lack of a better term, has been around for about 3 years, and that is Omar Kelly, our Dolphins writer, hence the X's and O's title. If Omar ever leaves, by the way, we'll have to hire somebody named Oscar or something, because we're Oliver. And this guy's talking about football, experts talking about football. Rod with a Twist, I think we have an example of, but it's one of our staffers, Rod Hagwood, hang on a sec, he gives a drink recipe, but in a sort of cocktail party setting, a little hard to describe. We'll have Florida is one of our popular blogs. Name kind of implies what it is, but we'll do the video version of it. We have a commentary, but it's not a guy sitting in front of a desk pontificating. It's a guy who's very, very animated. We have a consumer tips video segment by a person who does that in print and online right now, Doreen Christensen. We have another sports show hosted by Chris Perkins, whom some of you might even know. So we'll launch with 10 different series, updated at least weekly, and you can watch it wherever you want to watch it because it's on a responsive site, and it shows up anywhere. It's monetized with pre-roll advertising. It's monetized, as you can see here, with banner advertising and other modules. We think this will be profitable. And before we show the clip, I'll show the clip in a second, but none of this is acting. These are our journalists. In most cases, the beat writers extrapolating their beats into a different medium. But in every case, these are journalists doing journalism. We're not, this is not entertainment programming, even though it is entertaining. So we have a clip, Rachel's helped me out, we have a clip of Rod, but Rod has a unique ability, well, you'll see, you'll see.
I don't know what it is, the food, stress, or running around.
See?
Sometimes I feel bloated or gassy with rumbling, uncomfortable. I feel sluggish and cranky. You're right, Bailey. I need a change. I'm taking the Activia
This is a good
challenge.
Enjoying Activia twice a day.
By the way, when we're on Hulu, Hulu will sell ads and give us a piece of the action. So now we're taking our product almost in a syndication model, where somebody else is taking our product and
So the
giving us money.
doctor lasered it off. Later he reattached it, but he wouldn't tell me where. Hi, I'm Rod Stafford Hagwood, and we're here at the Premier Beverage Mixology Center in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and we're with John Manzelli, who's the star of Fully Committed at Broward Center, and we're with my man Nick, who's going to hook us up with a great craft cocktail. Nick, what are you going to make for us?
We're gonna make a smoked old fashioned today.
All three of those are my favorite words. Tell us about your show.
It's a one-man show where I play 39 people at the Broward Center through February 1st. It's kind of like an acrobat meets theater meets a comedy club.
Like, Rod, you look fabulous. Thanks so much for having me here. Okay, you know what? I think this is a really terrible situation. You're putting me in here with the drinking. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's amazing.
So it's kind of a meta theater thing.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect.
Are you not impressed by the fact that I said meta theater?
I'm very impressed by
Thank
that.
you. I have no idea what that means.
What are you doing?
I have a wood plank here. It's a maple wood plank, and we're going to use an accent to flavor the cocktail.
I thought he was just going pyro. Just like, okay, you know what? Now I smoke crack. By burning the pine,
Maple?
I don't know my wood.
No.
The flavor goes in the glass.
Yeah, get that great.
Kind of like a cigar.
Thank you.
A la vodka.
Cheers.
Cheers, you know.
Thank you.
It's a sipper.
It's a sipper for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
This ain't a shot.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, whiskey drinker's cocktail right there.
How did you come up with this?
A lot of thought and a lot of smoking. Really kind of puts it together.
If I didn't have to do a show tonight, I'd be here all day.
For SunSentinel.com, I'm Rod Stafford Hagwood.
Thank you. Now, I don't know if you notice this. Some of us are G-rated, some of us are X-rated. Some can do both. Rod does both simultaneously, which is a rare skill. He did not actually say anything off color there, but or did he? He didn't. By the way, so you're watching Sun Sentinel Originals on your 62-inch high-def TV at the end of the day, or if you just got your master's degree in literature in the middle of the day, sit at home since you don't have a job, and off to the side is on your coffee table is a coffee table book, which we also published. We're about to get into that, and on different themes, different subjects. I think Mindy said this, somebody else said this, wherever the reader wants it, we will get it there in whatever form necessary. So, by the way, I mentioned special, some of the special projects and the interactives and the databases and the digital graphics. I was asked to give a plug. We have one opening. We're hiring for that right now. You can see Rachel Shalom here afterwards if you wish, but we're going to be adding one to our staff. So it's graphics, but interactive. Lastly, this is a thing nobody wants to talk about, and I'll run the risk of being booed. One of our innovations is digital paywall. We tried, and I was doing digital, in the year 2000, and I remember back then saying that if you lose a reader in print and gain one in digital, it's okay. And back then, you really had to convince publishers and editors of that. And it turns out I was lying to them, but it didn't know it. It isn't the same because of the revenue. So essentially, we're trading dollars for dimes or dollars for 20 cents every time you take a print reader and convert him into a digital reader. So I think the days of free access to content that was created by professional paid journalists, I'm not talking about silly things that might be posted. I'm not talking about YouTube type videos. I'm talking about things that people were paid to do. I think the era of that being for free is over. And so we, in the last couple of months, began a paywall that seeks to sell digital subscriptions. It's going pretty well, but that is high on the radar for the next several years. How's that? Innovation. It's going back to doing something the old way. And that's it. Thanks for having me.